Hi, I'm Jess and I'm a full-time working parent, but also suddenly a homeschool parent. My first grader is out of school for have no idea how long. I thought I'd put together some tips and tricks and little projects to help supplement the work that the schools are providing with the reading, writing and math, and also just to make it a little more fun for the kids. So this week, something I came up with, extremely easy. You don't need a lot of equipment. I just got a simple piece of paper, and we live in the Pacific Northwest, and we like trees, so we have a tree guide. You could use any guide or any sort of natural science book with pictures or descriptions of trees or animals or whatever you want to use. So I'm just using my tree guide for the Pacific Northwest. And I thought I would make an activity where she needed to pick two trees, so it could be two animals, two trees, whatever you're looking at, and go through and kind of compare and contrast how they are different or similar from each other. So in my tree list, she will write down the two different trees here and go through where they're found, the location, the size, the shape of the needles and leaves, the type of bark, cones, and then her favorite part about the tree. So just practicing comparing and contrasting information, and then also hopefully learning about some local trees. Something else that I do that we started to do actually a couple of months ago is with her high frequency words, instead of just spelling it out in a list, I actually do something a little bit different. I pick 3 words at a time and I ask her to put them into a sentence. And so she's building sentences as well as spelling the words. And then she gets to create something fun out of it. Sometimes it's a silly sentence, sometimes it's a regular sentence that makes sense, but she gets to choose. It needs to make some sort of sense and be in the right order. But it also kind of makes them think about how certain words could go together. So that's something that you can do in addition to just a regular list of words that your teacher might have given you. I thought about something else that was fun this week. Again, really simple activity, doesn't require anything but a piece of paper. She's been reading Harry Potter, and she likes fantasy, she likes fiction books, she's a bookworm. But I thought that maybe she could put together her own creature. So this project is about creating her own fantasy creature. And I didn't really want to add too much to this. I really wanted her to be creative. But I did write down some ideas for her to think about as she's building her creature. I put body, so what kind of body it has, sounds, what kind of sounds it might make, what habitat it lives in, and its diet, what it eats. So those are just some things for her to think about as she's creating her creature. And then she might do it already, but if she doesn't, I'll encourage her to label, once she's finished creating her creature, label different parts of it so that she can kind of expand on that information. Okay, I am a scientist, so I do try to encourage science in my daughter. And I happen to have these books that I got from the store about a year ago, actually. We haven't used them much, to be honest, but I think this is a good time to bring them out. You can use any science books that you have or anything online if you wanted to do it online. But what I did was I went through the books and I picked out about 10 different pages. In these particular books, each page is an idea. What I did, I actually just used some scrap paper that I had for a different project, created a little science fun facts book. And what I'm going to ask her to do is to read the page that I put a mark on, and then to kind of summarize or just make one statement about that feature in here. So it's an atom or motion or friction. Just say what she remembers about the page, or just one idea as she was reading it that stood out to her. So I just have 10 pages in here, 10 tabs, and I think that'll take a while. It's kind of like a little research project, but then it's also fun to make a little book for themselves. They get some ownership over it then. And then finally for this week, I came up with an activity. We have a great book called National Parks of the USA by Kate Cyber, and there's a lot of information in here. There's a lot of different, it goes through all of the national parks, I believe. But on each page it has animals, plants, different parts of the landscape, different landforms, and my daughter really likes it. But there's a lot of information, so I don't expect her to go and read and understand and remember everything. But I thought an activity for this week, something fun where she can learn and then build something is, I haven't stuck them on yet. I'm going to allow her to stick them wherever she wants, but I just used some cardstock, and I want her to go through, the task is to go through the book, and it doesn't need to be at the same national park. In fact, I don't really want it to be at the same national park, but I want her to pick out one animal that she likes or something she was drawn to, a plant, a different landform, and an activity, and then up to her. She might want an extra plant or an extra animal here. So I'm going to ask her to write down what national park those features were in, and then write something about it. And I'm going to leave that up to her. And I think that this one will probably take about 30 to 45 minutes. So that'll take up a good amount of time while I try to get some work done. All right, well, that's it for this week. I hope it helps. Stay strong, and if you liked this, please feel free to share or subscribe, and we'll see you next week.